Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are tackling one of the most common, most useful patterns in Korean, the super simple, super powerful, and very casual cha. So if you want to make suggestions to your friends and sound like you actually know what you're doing, this one is an absolute must-know.
All right, let's just jump right in with a phrase you might hear when things are getting a little crazy in a K-drama. 이제 정신 좀 차리자. So what in the world is that 자 doing at the end? Well, the whole phrase means something like, let's get a grip now. And that tiny little syllable, well, that's the key to everything we're about to unlock. So how does this thing actually work? Well, the mechanics are incredibly simple. And I'm not kidding, this is one of those grammar points you can learn and literally start using in the next 5 minutes. Let's break it down. Okay, so at its heart, ja is just a casual sentence ending you pop onto a verb, and what it does is propose doing something together. It is the perfect one-to-one equivalent of saying let's in English. You know, let's eat, let's go, let's do it. It's all going to end with ja. And honestly, here's the best part. This might be one of the easiest conjugations in the entire Korean language. All you do is take any verb in its dictionary form, like 가다, which means to go. Step 2, you just drop the final da. And step 3, you just attach ja. That is it. No crazy vowel rules, no irregulars to memorize. It's that easy.
Let's just look at a few examples to really see this in action. 가다 becomes 가자. Let's go. So simple. 먹다 to eat becomes 먹자. Let's eat. 하다 to do becomes 하자. Let's do it. And 놀다 to play becomes 놀자. Let's play. See? It's so consistent and so easy.
Now, here's a quick pro tip that's going to make you sound way more natural. When certain consonants, like the giok in mug, come right before the jit in ja, that jit sound gets tense. So instead of saying 먹자, it sounds a lot more like 먹자. It's a really subtle shift, but trust me, it makes a huge difference in sounding fluent. All right, pop quiz time. Picture this. You're in a big meeting, your stomach is growling, and your company's CEO is sitting right across the table. Looking at these 3 options on the screen, which one should you absolutely, under no circumstances, ever say? Take a second to think about it. And the answer is, of course, C. 밥 먹자. Yeah, you say that to your CEO, and you might just be updating your resume the next day. This is the perfect example of just how important those politeness levels are in Korean. You gotta save ja for your buddies. Awesome! So now you know the basic rule and you understand the vibe. Let's move on and build on that. We're gonna level up and look at how you can use this pattern so you sound less like a textbook and way more like an actual native speaker. The secret sauce here is often in the adverbs you pair it with. Think of these as magic words that you can sprinkle in to add a ton of flavor to your suggestions. Words like 일단, meaning first, 빨리, quickly, and 그냥, just, are used all the time. For example, let's say you and a friend are totally overwhelmed, you've got a million things to do. You might say, 일단 잠부터 자자, which means let's sleep first. That little word 일단 adds the sense of prioritization. Like, okay, let's just deal with this one thing for now. Or for a more dramatic situation, maybe you're playing a video game or watching a horror movie together, you could totally yell, 빨리 도망치자. Let's run away quickly. The word 빨리 just adds that perfect sense of urgency. Now, this next one is great because it shows how specific and just normal these phrases can be. In a funny moment from our source material, one character is hallucinating and says, 가서 샴푸 좀 빌리자, or let's go and borrow some shampoo. It's so random and mundane, and that's exactly what makes it feel so real. And for a touch of dark humor, when everything is just going completely wrong, a friend might dramatically sigh in despair and say, 그냥 죽자, which means let's just die. Obviously, they don't mean it literally, but it's the perfect example of that kind of informal, dramatic bonding moment where 자 just feels right at home. Okay, so we've covered the rules, we've covered the vibe, and we've seen some really natural examples. Now it's time to put it all into practice. Let's do a couple of quick drills just to make sure this is locked in your brain. Okay, first situation. You walk into your friend's room and it is a complete disaster. You want to suggest cleaning it up together. What would you say? The verb to clean is 청소하다. You got it. You'd say 청소하자. See? You just tape 청소하다, chop off that final da, and slap on ja. Simple as that. All right, next one. You and your friend are at the bus stop and you see your bus coming, but you're way too far away. You have to run for it. how would you say, let's run?
Perfect. You could yell 뛰자 from the verb 뛰다, or you could yell 달리자 from the verb 달리다. Either one works perfectly in that situation. And that pretty much wraps it up for today. So the big takeaway is that ja is your go-to pattern for making casual suggestions with someone. But that brings up an interesting new question, doesn't it? If ja is for let's do this together, how would you casually ask a friend to do something for you? How might that be different? Well, that's definitely something to think about for next time.